Hi everyone and welcome back. Today I'm not in the garden, I'm in the kitchen for a change as I patiently wait for pods to start producing and ripening fruit. In this video I'm going to be making a lacto fermented tropical hot sauce. Let's get straight into it. I will leave recipe quantities in the video description. First things first, wear gloves. Even if these peppers aren't super hot, put some gloves on. You'll thank me later. We start off by de-stemming cayenne and habanero peppers which have been rinsed. This sauce isn't going to be too spicy, but it will be loaded with flavour, I promise you. For no particular reason, I decided to cut the habaneros and get them out of the way first. I'm going to be fermenting these peppers in a brine as opposed to mashing them up. At the end, we're going to be blending and straining this, so the chilies don't need to be cut up fine. I just cut them up into thumb-sized pieces. On to the tropical part of this hot sauce. We have a pineapple, 3 peaches and 2 mangoes. I'm also adding 2 red onions for extra flavour. I remove the core of the pineapple, keep the skin on the peaches and peel and chop the mango cheeks. I only ended up using half of the pineapple as a whole one was too much. Now we're ready to put it into our fermenting vessel. For this fermentation I'm going to be using a recycled 1.25 cheese container, which is roughly the same capacity in litres. I'm pretty meticulous when it comes to fermentation and I can't stress enough. Make sure everything you use is clean, sterilised and sanitised. All equipment I'm using has been cleaned and sanitised with a diluted star sand solution. I place the fruit on the bottom, starting with the mango as it is the softest, followed by the red onions, peaches, pineapple and then the peppers on the top. I'm going to be using a 3.5% brine solution, which is higher than the normal 2%, and the reason for that is to help slow down the fermentation because of all the natural sugars in the fruit. I use a plastic party plate cut into a circle to help keep everything submerged. Now we are ready to add our brine to the container. Make sure you use 100% salt with no additives for your brine, as additives can inhibit fermentation. I use the lid off a small plastic container to assist in keeping the chili and fruit under the brine. I then place on my lid an airlock and fill the airlock with a little star sand solution. I used 2 smaller fermenting containers for the remainder of the chili and fruit that I had left over. This is now ready to ferment. I place the container in a cupboard which maintains a temperature between 20 and 23 degrees, which I will let ferment for around 2 to 3 weeks. It's been 2 weeks and 4 days and I think our fermentation is ready. You can see the little bubbles of CO2 have worked their magic. I think it's time we open this and take a look. A week into my fermentation, I noticed chili slightly popping out the brine. As a precaution, I added this plastic bowl, clean and sanitised of course, to keep everything submerged. As you can see, a perfectly healthy fermentation. The smells from this container are amazing. Now let's get everything into the blender. I like to strain off the brine and put everything into the blender. I was very fortunate that all the container's contents were able to fit in my Ninja blender, which has a large capacity jug. There was about half a cup of fruit left over, which I discarded as there was plenty of fruit for the blend. Using my Ninja blender, I blend on high for 2 minutes, occasionally scraping down the sides with a spatula to ensure everything is incorporated until it's nice and smooth. To be shelf stable, the sauce needs to be below 4.6 pH. Testing this sauce revealed a pH of 3.5, which I was very happy with. As an added measure, I added 1 cup of distilled white vinegar, which brought down the pH to 3.4. The sauce has a beautiful smooth consistency. To make it even more smooth, I'm going to run it through a fine mesh sieve. The leftover seeds and skin can be used to make chilli infused oil. I have other plans for this pulp, however. Now we can finally get to bottling. I have cleaned, sterilised and sanitised my hot sauce bottles. I didn't end up using the two larger bottles and the empty sriracha bottle. I will use them for my next hot sauce recipe. As I begin filling, I spill some hot sauce on my lids thanks to my Pyrex jug, which doesn't pour that well. I hope to invest in a better pouring jug in the future. I wash and sanitize the lids again. With my last remaining bit of hot sauce, I use the leftover sieved skins and seeds and put them back into the sauce with a cup of distilled white vinegar. I blended this super fine using the smoothie attachment of my Ninja blender. This is how it came out. Because this has the seeds and the skin, it's a little bit spicier, and with more vinegar, a little bit runnier. For something different, I decided to fill it with one of these skull bottles I got from my local discount store, which will make a nice gift. At one point in time, the only way you could get your hands on one of these was to buy a bottle of Crystal Head vodka, which retails usually for about $70 to $80. I finish up by putting all the lids on the bottles and affixing the cork to the skull bottle. And there you have it. That's all for this episode. I hope you enjoyed it. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. It would mean the world to me. Until then, see you same chili time, same chili channel.